Nigeria celebrates 1 year of the administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari, one which made history when the All Progressives Congress, for the first time in Nigeria, off-seated a ruling party, the People's Democratic Party. The APC won elections by preaching the gospel of change to Nigerians. This episode of Big Story finds out reactions to the policies and decisions of this government 1 year after. Even before President Muhammadu Buhari settled in, many Nigerians had a long list of expectations and high hope that the message of change will suit their needs in different aspects. As at May 29, 2015, the foreign reserve of the country was at about $30 billion, deeply affected by crude oil price, which had dipped to about $50 a barrel, leaving the reserve in the range of $27 billion by April 2016. This has not brightened the heart of Nigerians who say they expected more in 1 year.
All the indicators are going down. All the indicators about a well-functioning economy, they're all bad. You know, for many years, we've never had this kind of situation where we have a double-digit inflation rate. It's not been so for many years, for the past 7 years or more, many years. We've not had a case where we have a high level of capital flight in the economy. It's not been so. A high rate of unemployment, it's not been so. There have been job losses. It's not been so for many years. It is not about the drop in the price of crude. The oil sector contributes about 15% to GDP, about 15%, even though it has about 90% to revenue. It's a different thing. The growth we experienced in the last regime we are basically from the non-oil sector. So people should not use oil as an example or as an excuse that the price of oil has gone down, therefore the economy has to go down. No, the growth that we recorded in the past regime was from the non-oil sector, because oil gives you about 15% of GDP, thereabout. So it's just a matter of not focusing on the economy.
There are, however, some Nigerians who prefer to take it easy on the assessment.
Because they came and found a very difficult terrain. So it's a very, very difficult thing. And the bad news is that the things are changing so fast. Whatever you do is changing so fast. So we believe that we should give them time, and we will expect them to actually move faster.
This mixed sentiment stems from activities and outcome from various sectors and industries that make up the economy. The oil and gas sector, which contributes about 30% to the nation's revenue, has not recorded a lot of good turns. By May 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari was sworn in, the price stood at about $60 per barrel. By the beginning of 2016, the price was hovering at about $30 and has only increased to about $50 in May. Meanwhile, the budget pegs the price at $38, with an estimated production of 2.2 million barrels per day for 2016. This is already being threatened with the increased vandalism of pipelines by the Niger Delta Avengers, which has reduced production to just about 1.8 million barrels.
On the revenue side, the government is losing a lot. On the service side, we the people, we are losing a lot. For instance, the recent figures on ground shows that we're losing about 500,000 barrels per day. And that's a huge loss to the country, for the government. As well, pipelines broken, no gas, we can't generate electricity. The power stations are down, everybody's suffering light outs. On the other side, you have lots of environmental pollution at the sites of breakdown, which also impacts on the community, the local community there. Huge losses everywhere.
The sector also witnessed a showdown between the government and Labour, although the union was divided in this reaction. This is when the federal government finally decided to remove subsidy from premium motor spirit, leading to an increase of pump price from 86 naira 50 kobo to 145 naira per litre. The strike, which was led by Ayuba Waba faction of NLC, lasted for 3 days and brought about peaceful protests and roadwork in some states. A different scenario in the camp of the Joe Ajero faction, which seemed to accept the increase in pump price. With this opposing position in the NLC, many Nigerians, especially in the private sector, did not participate in the strike, and it seems the new price has come to stay. The federal government has had to think up of smart ways to deal with the not-too-good economic tide of the moment. There was a tightening of forex through the Central Bank of Nigeria, one way being the ban of foreign currency from the official window to import 41 items, which include roofing sheets, tinned fish, wood particle boards, tomato paste, and so on. This was along the strategy of controlled exchange system, which kept the dollar at an official price of about 197 naira. A far situation from what is obtained in the parallel market, which is about 300 naira. This received attention at the May monetary policy meeting, during which the CBN governor announced some adjustment to this policy.
Today's policy actions have to be predicated on a less optimistic outlook for the economy in the short term, given that even after the delayed budgetary passage in May 2016, the initial monetary injection approved by the federal government may not impact the economy soon, as the processes involved in the MDA's finalizing procurement contracts before the disbursement of funds may further delay the much needed financial injections and stimulus to restart the growth process. Committee noted that the CBN had implemented accommodative monetary policy from July 2015 with the hope of achieving growth up until March 2016, when the MPC switched into a tightening mode. However, while the underlying conditions necessitating tight monetary policy remained largely in place, sundry administrative measures implemented by the bank and recent macroeconomic conditions on the back of the budget of 2016 are expected to significantly dictate a key policy preference in the dilemma now faced by monetary policy, stagflation, and imminent recession.
The announcement by the CBN governor that recession is imminent in Nigeria has also generated worry from many, especially those who say they saw it coming and talked about it.
There is a school of thought that believe that we could have avoided it. You'll recall that when we had our summit in October, we brought to fore the very tough choices that Nigeria needed to make. That was very clear. And we told them about the various scenarios that, look, if you do this right now and take the tough decisions, we could avoid this. We might have some deceleration in growth, but we'll avoid entering into a recession. If you pretend and we do business as usual, that was no way we're going to avoid recession. So, I mean, the signs were very clear. They were available. There people knew that. I mean, good students of economics knew that if we didn't take the tough decisions, we were going to land in recession. Unfortunately, we're in recession. We could have avoided it.
Individuals like Mr. Jayola are, however, skeptical about the clause which has been added to the new forex regime, which says that the government has reserved a window for critical transactions.
Anytime you do all those things, we know the history in Nigeria is subject to abuse. There must be a clear definition of what is critical. And everybody should know. We should know what qualifies. It's not because my friend is the one asking for it becomes critical and the other person doesn't get it. So those are things we want to see in their policies when they bring them out. But more importantly, we need to see a combination of things that will give investors the confidence that we're really ready to talk. Because investors are not electric, what I call a switch, off and on. They're going to stop now and watch. Don't allow, and I want to appeal to Nigerians, we should not think that now that we're going to embrace flexible, all the supplies will come immediately. People are going to watch and say, this serious? What next?